everyone, and welcome to our post-game interview updates. I'm your host, Lauren Kalil. Our show is brought to you by the U.S. Army Warrior Fitness Team. It provides awareness of Army opportunities while serving. Team members are active duty soldiers that compete in CrossFit and strongman, strongwoman competitions, both nationally and internationally. Make sure to check out the link in our description for more details. On today's show, we have CrossFit Games rookie and definitely a fan favorite, Rebecca Fuselier. Rebecca, how are you? How is it back getting into your own gym and relaxing a bit?
Yeah, it's been good. It's definitely been a crazy just overall past month, but you get all the highs and lows, and now we're coming off of the high of the games and getting back settled in to the normal routine here at the gym.
How long does it take to get back into that normal routine? Like, I think I saw a post that you put on Instagram. And by the way, you are hilarious. You could definitely do stand-up comedy from some of your posts, but do you get the itch right away to jump back into training, or is it nice to just maybe not set an alarm, like roll out of bed when you want?
Yeah, there were some things like the whole working out thing. I'm always itching to get back to it, just because that's what you're so used to doing, and that stuff is just plain old fun to me. But the waking up early, I was definitely taking advantage of a few days of no alarm or later alarm. But I'm already wanting to get back into it, and there's just so many things coming off of the games that I'm ready to get better at. So it's good forced rest for me, but personally, I'm always ready to get right back into training.
As your first time at the games as an individual, what is your process after you left Madison? Do you journal your ideas? Do you talk it out with someone? How do you really digest the whole experience?
So I've been competitive for a while. So you get up to like that semifinal stage, and it coming off of the games, I wasn't sure exactly what I would feel just because it's a much longer experience and you're definitely more worn out by the end of it and everything. But there was a lot of thoughts, and I think as I've grown as a competitor, I have those thoughts and everything rolling in my brain, but it's almost like trying to get myself to stop thinking a little bit of CrossFit and enjoy the good moments and the moments I'm most proud of, and kind of hold on to those before I start like picking myself apart. And because we'll immediately get back, Matt and I, my coach, will immediately get back into it and be like, oh, let's go work on this, and we got to work on this and all these other things that need to improve. But my biggest goal this year, and coming off of when we qualified in semifinals and then coming off the games, I was like, hey, enjoy the moment, live in the moment. There will be plenty of days in the future that I know I'm going to be super hard on myself and getting back to all of these weaknesses and wanting to get better at all of that. So it was a good decompress for a few days, but then yeah, I wrote down some things in my journal, like some goals, some things I'm really proud of, some things that definitely need work. And yeah, a little bit of just getting those thoughts down. Yeah.
How did this experience compare then from when you were a teen athlete at the games in 2016 and 2017?
Oh, it's much crazier. It's much crazier. You just the way, first of all, it's amazing how organized they are in the back, and it helps us athletes out so much when we're like walking from stage to stage. I remember that was like a big deal, just learning the timing of how the days are gonna roll and everything. And a lot of people, I was telling someone this yesterday here in the gym, a lot of people, you see everything that's happening on stage, right? But it's all the planning and the briefings and the walking to and from stages that gets a little taxing too. But when I went into the games this year, I was like, man, I'm so ready to just get put through the
Yeah.
test and learn what happens. As a teenager, it's very similar, but it's like it's just a smaller version of it. This was much bigger.
And it's so crazy because I think now we're starting to see a lot of that turnover where athletes are aging up. I mean, you have Mal O'Brien, you have Emma Lawson, you have Haley Adams. Do you feel like you've been able to like relate with any of them, since they were all former teen athletes as well? Like, do you guys exchange text messages or talk, or is there any kind of camaraderie around that?
So I think there are, just through, it's really amazing, and technology is amazing and social media is amazing to be able to stay in touch with some of your competitors, because you almost feel like you know people when you're going over there, and everybody has their peeps that they talk to and everything. The coolest moment of the season for me was actually at semifinals, where I think I was at the MAC, and like five
Mhm.
of us former teenagers were there. So it was like a reunion. And we were like, ah, this is
So
so
cool.
cool. I remember, like, it's just like you kind of pick up like right where you left off and everything. And so that's, yeah, I do chat with some athletes that I've competed against a little bit, and it's a extra little bonus, because this sport is just all about the community, right? And you get
Yeah.
those good friends too.
I think the first time that I noticed you, it was either this year at semifinals or last year. I can't remember, but it was when I saw you in the sparkle top.
That was
And
this year.
okay. And as somebody who was a former competitive dancer, and my mom has a whole like bedazzled kit, like I've bedazzled my
Uh-huh.
lifters. I
Uh-huh.
just was like, this girl is a boss. I'm obsessed with it. What kind of inspired to like wear this little like bedazzled top? I love it.
Okay, so I like to kind of create my own style. So I come from a gymnastics background. So we're right there with you with all the
Yeah.
bedazzled stuff, right? And I don't the silly thing is like I'm not a very big like colorful sparkly person. I kind of have like two personalities, but I do all the different things, like the two mixed match shoes. It's always finding those weird, I've always said, I just don't make me look like everyone else out there. I'm gonna look a little bit different, and then I kind of
I
have my
love
own
that.
style. I kind of have my own style about going things, and I have it's kind of funny, the apparel brand that I work with, and kind of all the brands that I've partnered with. I go, this is kind of the make or break question. I was like, am I allowed to customize my gear and the things that
Oh yeah.
that you guys give me? So I don't know, and I'm a very crafty person on the side. Like, that's what, if I'm not training or coaching or doing work, like, I'm always have my hands doing something, like painting or making apparel or customizing and all that. So that's just what I go to on the side.
Oh, that's so cool. What's like the biggest kind of crafty project that you've worked on or created?
Um, Probably I just that customized apparel. I've painted the shoes that I wore at the games this year were painted. And
Wow.
I've also done projects in the gym, like our storm wall. That was actually my family and we all worked on that. It's like a big painted mural on our wall. So there's some gym projects that we've done.
You and your whole family did it. So they're all
My
artists.
Yeah, my little sister and my dad are artists, are the artists of the family, and I like to play artist with them. I'm not as talented as them, but I try to play along.
I mean, from what I've seen so far, you're pretty crafty, and I can foresee a business in selling like bedazzled sports bras, t-shirts, whatever
I
in your
might be
future.
getting on to something like that. I might be getting on to something like that.
I would definitely be a customer.
Yes, let's go.
You got at least one.
Yes.
Going back to Madison and the games, your best finish was second in the skill speed medley. Crazy, because there's so many new skills, obviously a big gymnastics background, but as they are announcing it, you're seeing the demo team go through this. What's going through your head?
Like, this crazy. So when we were in the back and actually saw them write out just the written version of it, that was people were like looking at it and they're like, is this a joke? Like, there's single unders on here. Is it we're people were trying to figure out, are they like trying to trick us? And then we go to
Yeah.
briefing and it's something completely different and everything. It was That event was so fun. When we're watching briefing, all you're thinking about, so it was like elimination style, right? There were some qualifying rounds to get through,
Mhm.
and the whole time I'm just thinking like, I want to get to that last round so bad because I have like high skill gymnastics and I'm like a smaller athlete, so I can pull out some of that high skill stuff. But I was like, I just got to focus on round one, because you can't even get to that stuff if you don't make it past round one and round two. So it was crazy. And everybody asked me kind of if they were like, was that your favorite event? I mean, that's because you like finish really well in it. Of course, that's
Sure.
fun. I was like, most nerve wracking event. I was like, having that elimination style, I was like, it's the most nerve wracking event.
Is it also because you knew like you should perform well in that it just like adds to the
Yeah.
nerves?
Yeah, there is a little bit of that. Like people look at you and they're like, you're a gymnast. And
Mhm.
I'm confident in those skills, but in something like that, anything can happen. Anyone can
Yeah.
trip on the jump rope. And yeah,
So then what
so it
was
was a
your
little bit
favorite
more
event?
pressure. My favorite event was the up and over. I thought that one was really cool. The muscle ups into the up and over the log
Mhm.
and the GHDs, and then it finished off with a lunge, and I like to lunge too. But I felt like it was a perfect balance of classic CrossFit, but
Mm.
there was still some twists and some new things in there, like getting up and over the log and like clear box jump overs and really high box jumps. So I liked it.
What was your least favorite event then? Oops, I think. Are you there, Rebecca?
Oh, we're back. Yep.
We're back. We're back. What was your least favorite event then?
Well, I have to say this is when they took my seated legless rope climbs out of the alpaca.
Ah,
So I know there's a lot.
change the
There was,
workout.
yep, and there you could see in the back. I mean, it happens. They have to take the safety concerns. Of course, the safety of
Mhm.
everyone is the biggest priority. But you could see some athletes get really excited, and
Yeah.
then I was like, "Hmm." I was like, I had that. I was ready for that. So there was that, and I enjoyed doing the events. I mean, obviously, I couldn't budge the yoke. So there might have been that. Maybe we could say that was my least favorite.
But you didn't stop trying. You didn't
I
stop
did
trying.
not.
I saw
I
you in
did
that
not.
lane.
I everybody asked me about that. They're like, "What did it feel like?" I was like, "The worst feeling ever," as I was just like trying to put my whole body weight into it, and I think I almost gave myself a hernia. And I was like trying to get that thing moving so bad. But we'll get bigger and stronger for next year.
Right. Are those like certain implements that you utilize in your gym? Or did you feel like this is my first year at the CrossFit Games? I have bigger priorities to tackle. Like, what was some of the mindset and ideas leading up to the games for training?
So it's kind of crazy this season. I wrote on our goal board over here that I wanted top 10 at semifinals. So I think we can say it was a pretty good year on that. But
Yeah.
also it's intimidating coming from that and just it being your first year. And when approaching the games, when we were going through training, like it was games training was so much fun. You get to do all these weird elements, and I've touched like in an event like that. Of course, I use the yoke all the time. That was just like a super heavy one. But
Yeah.
leading up to it, I definitely had like a couple weeks before. I did have my own personal freak out moment, like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to hang with these girls? And because you get so many weeks from semifinals, and you're like,
Sure.
okay, I'm about to go test and see if I can hang. And so you do have those moments. And leading into the games this year, I was like, rookie year. And I'm just so thankful that everything played out this year to where I get to go have this opportunity, and I'm just going to use it as an extra year under my belt just start learning, because I know stronger years are ahead.
Sure.
So learning every single thing, but I was having so much fun over there because I felt like every event had something I'd never done before or I've seen before and always wanted to play around with, like the pig, for example. I flip tires over here, but I've never gotten my hands on a pig, and just little elements like that, or like the actual pegboards at the games that we have one, like a friend of ours has a pegboard setup, but it's not near as like fancy as that. So it's just being able to touch all of that equipment and have all that knowledge. Now I'm just fired up for next year. And as far as like, I knew going into the games there was going to be there was going to be workouts where I'd be looking at a barbell that I couldn't lift or looking at a heavy weight that I couldn't lift, and I was like, just I will never stop fighting, and I know I'm going to get stronger in the years to come. So this is my chance to go see where we're at and create a baseline, and then we'll build off of that. So
And I think that's a great mindset going into it, because you look at other athletes. The one that comes to mind is Haley Adams, and she's been at the games before where she's been looking at the barbell,
mhm,
trying, but she knows like it's above her 1 RM, and just
mhm,
kind of watching her journey of how much stronger she's gotten over the years.
yeah,
So I'm really excited to watch your process and see how you keep chipping away at some of those goals. I think it's going to be really,
yeah.
really cool to see.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm really excited for that too. I'm like right there with all the people behind me. I'm like, I'm ready to see it too. We're gonna keep working and see those little climbs each year. I am really excited because they had, and I felt like this year there was a lot of heavy elements. Like I wanted um just I knew I was gonna be tested in that way. I feel like I was tested a little bit more than I actually thought I was gonna be in that way, but
Mhm.
it's good. It's good. It humbled me. It kind of put me at I told my coach, it kind of put me at my worst fear of like being in the Coliseum and not being able to do what I want to do. But that's just fire. I'm like, hey, we made it through and we're so much better because of it. And now stronger years to come. I'm excited for them.
Seeing you at the CrossFit Games, the most legendary moment was when the city of Madison physically got behind you going up those Capitol steps. I kind of want to like break down some of these layers, but starting at the beginning, when they announced that workout, what were your thoughts?
I really liked it. I was really excited. Well, first of all, I was excited to just go flip the pig because I was like, I've never done this before. I'm so excited. And we got past that. And the run, I had some issues going on in the run. I had sprained my ankle dismounting the bike on day one.
How
Yeah, a
is
lot of
your
people
ankle
didn't know
now?
that. It's doing okay. It's getting there. But that kind of played into it. I think I got in a funky pace on the run that I just wasn't I would got really frustrated because I wasn't holding the pace that I wanted to. My body wasn't feeling the way I wanted to, but hey, it happens. It's part of competition is being able to fight out there through those nasty parts. So I was excited to test my running because it's gotten a lot better, even my
Mhm.
distance running like that. But I was frustrated because it didn't show. And then just I think it was kind of an event everybody was excited for, but really didn't know it was coming because all the implements were a little bit different as far as like
Mhm.
the jerry can bags, and then the Husafell stone was just way more awkward than I thought it was going to be. But that's all those learning lessons that, hey, now I know what that feels like. So we'll be
Mhm.
able to train and do that. But I was excited for it. But in that moment, I think I was more frustrated than anything because I envisioned it going completely different. But then when it all calms down and you kind of look back at the event, I'm like, I know everything happens for a reason. And everybody was super excited about that moment, right? But to me, it's bittersweet. It's not the
Yeah.
place that you want to be in, but like I said, I really, now that I can look back at it, I know it's always gonna be a really special moment in my career and in the for the CrossFit community to see all that. So I just keep telling myself like everything happens for a reason. This was bigger than the games. This was bigger than my first trip to the games. This was for us as a community as a whole. So I'll always hold that really close to my heart. But yeah, workout wise, that Husafell stone was not make we were not friends on that 200-meter carry.
Have you had any prior exposure to the Husafell carry, or even like the Jerry bags? Are those like, I feel like most affiliates and gyms don't really have access to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's what's weird about it. They were like obviously you try to relate them to what you're doing on a daily basis, right? The jerry cans are kettlebells, like a
Sure.
kettlebell farmer's carry, and then that we do lots of sandbag carries and everything, but they're just slightly different to where you're like trying to figure out what to do. I remember the jerry cans, they're like much longer than kettlebells, so they're really close to the ground for me, and my feet kept
Yeah.
bumping them. Not too terrible, but they were a little awkward, especially when you're coming off of that long run. The Husafell stone, I thought I could maybe get a little bit better grip on it by like scooping it up from the skinnier part at the bottom, and it was super heavy after that long run, and we could throw it on our shoulder. And I know I even heard some people on the side, they're like, get it on your shoulder. I'm like, I would if I could, man. I would if I
Right,
could.
right. And it's always like the people in the stands that are like sitting there with their bagel and their coffee, like, you come out here and try it.
You help me put it on my
Right.
back.
I'm gonna tag you in.
Yeah. Yeah. But the other thing is during that, I talked about this. We did a whole media segment on it with my with Compete Media, my media person. And he I was like, I won't quit. I would never quit on that. I would die before I quit. And there were so many moments where I was like, I hope you guys are ready to wait out here for a while because it'll get up there. I just don't know how long it's gonna take.
Because there
So
was
I'm
no
like,
time cap, right?
right, right.
Okay.
And I was kind of like picking checkpoints to get to along the way, like, hey, I'm gonna get to that curb. And then each
Hmm.
set of stairs, I'm gonna get there. And the coolest part is I was kind of like zoned out. And at that point, you're like wad drunk and everything and can
Yeah.
slightly hear everything. But I could hear like my mom and my sister were running alongside of me. And so
Oh,
it was a
cool.
good moment to be like, oh, shoot, we're in Madison, we're at the CrossFit Games, we're doing a cool workout. So it was a special moment.
Do you remember what your body was physically feeling in some of those moments?
Yeah, it was just I started you kind of like, and I tell people this all the time. When you go to compete, and if you've ever been a competitive athlete, you crave that like adrenaline drug, the drug of adrenaline, and you like kind of you feel the pain of the workout, but your body's just on this whole nother level. When I got to like the third flight of the stairs, I go, oh no, like this is feeling heavy with all of this adrenaline, and I'm just like,
Oh
this
no.
is this is gonna hurt later on. I'm gonna be feeling this when all this adrenaline fades away. So we're gonna try to enjoy this moment and get past it and then focus on recovery right after. But yes, it was hard. It was a hard moment physically and mentally as a competitor in that sense. But looking back on it, it like I said, it's gonna be something, a moment I carry close to my heart throughout this whole career, my whole career.
At what point did you realize that like CrossFit had kind of let all of the crowd walk behind you? Like, could you feel their presence? Could you tell that they were almost
I
helping you up the stairs with
Not
them walking?
not when they like surrounded me. It was so funny. This was my exact thought because I was like halfway in it, halfway here, halfway not.
Yeah, wad drunk.
And yeah, and I like turned around and I go, "Oh shoot, it's a mob." Started a mob. I turned around and they were like so close and I go, "Oh, there's a lot of people there."
So like you
And
didn't really know what was happening until it was like
no,
there.
no, I
Wow.
could hear people like on the sides and then I just turned around and I was like, "Oh, hello."
And
But
as you
yeah,
said,
very
like,
special.
yeah, I can imagine that there's so many feelings that come with that because that's definitely not the finish that you want. But I think down the road, as you look back at your career, it'll be such a memorable time. And it
Yeah.
makes a great t-shirt that you're making or having help make.
Yeah. Yeah, my apparel company, they were like, I well, when they talked to me about that, it is such like it's a touchy-feely moment for everyone, right? I got so many people coming up to me and I'm still in like competitor mode and they're like,
Mm.
"Thank you and thank you for inspiring us." I was like, I just carried that bag up the stairs. You guys were the awesome ones, like cheering me on and everything. but it's an inspiring and a touchy-feely moment for everyone. And when we put those shirts, when they told me they wanted to do a shirt, I was like, we will not make this about Rebecca. We will not make this about Bolt. We will not make this about Cambro, the company. I want this to be for the community. This is so much bigger than just a workout, than a t-shirt, and I definitely didn't want it to see it as, hey, we're going to make money off of this moment. No, this is for us in this really special moment that happened.
And that's really what it was, a special moment. And just know that you have inspired so many people, even people that were not at the games that are in your everyday affiliates. They'll see that picture and be like, wow, I'm part of something so much bigger than just my affiliate or just my competition. It really is, a picture says 1,000 words, and looking at that picture, you created that.
Yeah. And that's why we all fell in love with CrossFit, right? We all go through the suck together, and we all push each other to that finish line, and we're all get better because of it.
Absolutely. That's why we CrossFit. And so that we can go maybe have ice cream on the weekend and not feel terrible.
And that I had a milkshake after the games were over, and I'm still dreaming about it.
What kind?
What kind?
Yeah.
It was like a mint Oreo. I am a sugar addict when I can get my hands on any type of sweets.
Through and through. Looking at the games though, it's funny because before you were saying that your goal this year was to make top 10 at semifinals, and then you go to the games and you made it through all of the cuts to the final day. How does it feel knowing that you did every single workout at the CrossFit Games in your first year?
That was really important to me. That was our big goal going into this. And there were so many moments that I surprised myself on. Like I said, you kind of go in seeing where you're going to line up with everyone, and it feels good knowing that you can kind of hang in there with these big dogs and the big names that you've looked up to. And that's just so much fuel to the fire, and it helps you really, those little moments help you really believe in yourself, and and kind of help you realize, like, hey, I'm meant to be here. I can do this. And yeah, we got a lot more growing to do, but I'm excited for it.
Looking at the entire experience as a whole, what would you say is your biggest takeaway from your rookie experience as an individual?
I would say I'm very proud of the effort and the preparation, and it really gives me confidence in everything that we're doing right now, just because I think it was I've kind of proved it on the floor, and it gives me confidence that I can compete on the biggest stage. Like, I may have felt like I was going to pee on myself on the very first event. That's how nervous we were going into it, but those nerves calmed down. And this is so cool. This is cool that we're like revisiting this moment, because after day 1 in the Coliseum, I was like standing in my lane. I told coach this, and I was like, I didn't feel nervous at all. I was like super excited, ready, and it felt like I was supposed to be right there, and I just knew what to do in that moment.
Oh.
So that, I think the competition floor is my home, and the games kind of proved it this year. So I'm going to take that, and it gets me excited to just lay it all out there in training so we can go keep having those fun moments in the future.
So then when can we expect to see you next at maybe some off-season competitions?
I think we're shooting for Wadapalooza.
Ooh.
I only done
like Miami in the
20,
winter.
I know. I think I competed at Miami at Wadapalooza in 2017 as a teenager. I want to say it was that. So that'll be another big return too.
Indy Elite.
Yes. Be shooting for that.
Well, we can't wait to see you there. Rebecca, it was such a pleasure watching you on the competition field. I cannot wait to see where you take this sport, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, thank you.